You know, imagine if you had a beautiful garden and they walked over and smashed everything. That's the way communism is. It's like there's nothing that you can grow or flourish in or do that they don't control. You know, if it gets too high, they go, nope, you can't have that, because the other person has to have it the same height. My name's Rafael Diaz. I've owned a few businesses here in this country. I have a hair salon now. I come from Cuba. I came here when I was right at almost 10 years old. My grandfather, very successful. He provided all the dairy for most of Cuba, like yogurts and the fruits and all that stuff, the ice creams. And he hired a lot of people, he had a lot of farms and stuff. They hated that he had what he had, because he was a hard worker, so they want that. Everything you have, they want. The communists controlled everything. Every street has a comités. What they do is they watch everything. What you bring into your house, what you don't bring into your house, who you're hanging around with, and they report you if you do anything that's not according to their laws. And then you always get used to the military with their machine guns. Sometimes at 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, we would hear this bang on our doors, and I remember I would get up and Mama said, go back to bed, go back to bed, go back to bed. And they would be in there with machine guns, checking all our drawers, our house, to see what we had. You know how a report card has A, B, C, has different, it's like that. A might be rice, B might be a piece of meat, C might be toilet paper. So every month they check out what you get, and that's all you get. You don't get any more or any less. So if today you want to go buy you a steak, you don't get a steak. Sometimes I could barter. We would barter with people to get like extra clothes or extra things. We were able to do that. But you know, that was always at a cost and a price. You could end up in jail for that, you know, which my father was in jail many times. I remember one time was for having too much fruit in the house, because he had boxes of fruit, because he had a business. They would put him in jail, and I said, where's Dad? Mama said, oh, don't worry, he'll be here later on. And they would let him out, but they do this to interrogate you. And schools were tough. The curriculum, the books would change to build up the communists, to build up Fidel Castro. You know, that this was good, this is not good, and all that. And then every morning you had to go and salute the communist flag. And then sometimes there were days that we would go home and then go back to school again, because that's where they train you. They take your mind and they want to teach you the communist way. I remember my mom picked me up at school around 4 o'clock. I remember her telling me, we're going to go see the house one more time. We're going to stay with your grandparents, and then we're leaving in a few days to come to America. There was just a peace as soon as we hit that plane, and we left. And I remember when we landed in America, where we landed, there was a 7-Eleven. Well, when we all looked, I almost want to go into tears with this. I have never seen so much food in my life in a 7-Eleven. And I remember the lady says, that's nothing. Just wait till you see a supermarket. You can do whatever you want in this country. If you want to work 24 hours a day and become a millionaire, you can. You can go to school, you can go trade school, you can go to college, there's just no limits. And you can do what you desire. If America started doing like Cuba, taking everything away, my rights, my desires away, what I want to do, where would I go? Where can I go? Where else could I go outside of America? I just thank God that my parents were Christian people that believed in a godly way of life. My grandfather always said that communism would only last in America 24 hours. He says, because we will have such a war in America. He says half the country will overturn. But Americans need to just realize what's going on.
Thanks so much for watching this video. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss new content from the Daily Signal.